Hello, I'm Teacher Dennis and welcome once again sa another episode ng Thanks TV. I'll be posting this both in YouTube and in Facebook so that anyone who needs this video will find it. Okay, so ang lesson natin ngayon for grade 8 ay greatest common monomial factor. Okay, so ito yung pinaka-basic sa lahat ng factoring, and this is the factoring that you should always consider looking for whenever you are factoring something, okay? Kasi it will be easier for you to factor, like for example, if you are asked to do quadratic factoring, mas madali kapag natanggal nyo na muna ang greatest common monomial factor para it's easier to handle the values, okay? So for number one, level one, very easy. Okay, so in our grade school, we are taught how to do the greatest common factor of numbers. So I will just fix the layout para just in case you have a very bad way of writing it. I could fix it kasi most of the time it's the layout that makes the factoring hard. Okay, so I will teach you my way. So the factors of 6 and 3. So I'm looking for the prime factors of 6. So we all know that, of course, we have 1 and then 6. So the factors of 6 is 3 and 2. This is what I do. I aligned the factors in one column so that our eyes can easily see it. So what are the factors of 3? So of course we have 1. Always consider 1 because sometimes 1 is very helpful in other factoring, okay? And of course 3. Okay, so now that those are aligned, so we have 1 here and then we have 3 here. The common factors then is 1 times 3. Greatest common. So if it is not common, you don't consider that anymore. So the greatest common is 3. And as you can see, only 6x has x on it. So it's not part anymore. So we will have 3 here as our greatest common factor. And then one by one, we will divide the first and the second term by our greatest common factor. So 6x divided by 3 is, so 6 divided by 3 is 2. And then just copy x. And then plus 3 divided by 3, okay, is 1. So anything you divide by itself is just 1. So this is the factor of 6x plus 3 using the greatest common monomial factor. 3 is the greatest common monomial factor, and the other factor is the quantity 2x plus 1. Very easy. Level 1. Okay, let's have the next example. Now, we have 24, right? We also have 8. 24, what are the factors of 24? We have 1. In our multiplication table, we could have 8 times 3. Okay, let's try 8 times 3. So 3 is already a prime. So all we need to do is to find the factors, the prime factors of 8. So we know that it is 4 times 2. So 2 is another prime factor. And the prime factors of 4 is 2. But it's also helpful to know that there are 3 2's sa 8. Okay, so 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. So these are the common factors of our, these are the prime factors of 24. While for 8, just like what I've told you, it is just 1 and then 3 2's. Okay, so the only common here is 1, 2, 2, and 2. Okay, so the common factors then, the greatest common factor then is 1 times 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. Okay, that's for our numerical value. Okay, so we write 8 here. Analyzing x squared and x, the greatest common monomial factor there is x. Sometimes the confusion starts when kasi we are saying, oh, greatest common monomial factor. So why not consider x squared? But in fact, the greatest common, only common, right? Common. So sometimes you can actually think that it is the least. Okay, it is the least exponent. Okay, so comparing x squared and x raised to 1, x1 is present in both x squared and x raised to 1. Okay, sometimes you have to break the language, and you would realize that, hey, x raised to 1 is actually the least among the two, comparing it to the two. But looking at the bigger picture, it's actually the greatest among those two. Okay, but anyway, maybe that could help kung nalito lalo kayo. So just forget about it. Basta piliin nyo yung least among those, among the terms. Okay, so the greatest common factor then is 8x raised to 1. Okay, and then now, let's divide these two terms, the first term and the second term, using our greatest common monomial factor. 24x squared divided by 8x would be 3x minus, so kaparehas na kaparehas lang, 8x and 8x. So 8x divided by 8x is another 1. So this is the factor of 24x squared minus 8x using greatest common monomial factor. Our greatest common monomial factor is 8x, and this is what happened after dividing 8x from 24x squared minus 8x. This is already its factor. Now let's go to the next example. So I think you're getting the hang of it already. So 9, 4, 12. So let's find the common among those three numbers. We know that 9 has 1 again, so everyone has 1. And then the factors of 9 is just 3 and 3. While for 4, it's only 2. Okay, so let's put it here, 2, and then 2. And then for 12, it is 2 and 2, because 12 is 4 times 3. And then here, so as you can see, there are no common factors there. Okay, so just leave it like that. So 9 m squared minus 4n plus 12. Remember that greatest common monomial factor. So if there is no common among these terms, then there is no way we can factor it using greatest common monomial factor. Okay, so how about let's check number 10 in the key that was given here. Okay, so number 10 in test 2. So here, so that's what's good about this worksheet, because they have provided the answer. So see, it says prime, so it's already unfactorable. Okay, so prime, it doesn't have any more factors aside from the equation itself. Okay, so we are correct. Next, example number 4. So 13, 26, and 39. 13, 26, and 39. Okay. So we all know that all of them has one factor. Never forget that as one of their prime factors. And then 13, of course. 13 is a prime number, by the way. And if you double 13, you will have 26. So it only means we have 13 here and a 2. In 39, if we triple 13, then we're going to have 39. So 13 and then 3. So it only means one thing. We have factors of 1 and 13. So our greatest common factor there is 13. And then examining the m squared, and m raised to 3, just like what I've told you, you check the least exponent, and that will be your greatest common monomial factor in terms of the variable. Okay, so then 13m is the greatest common monomial factor of these three terms, of the 1, 2, 3 term. Okay? Now, divide each term. First term first. 13m divided by 13m, same. So you're just going to have 1. Okay? Anything you divide by itself is just 1. While here, you know that 26, there are 13 in 26. And then there will be one more m, because if you subtract the exponent of 2 minus the 1 here, then it's just going to be 1 here also. Okay? Remember that. If it is multiplication, you add the exponent. When it is division, you subtract the exponent. Okay? And then last, 39 divided by 13, so there is 3. And then subtract again. M raised to 3 minus 1, then it's going to be m squared, because we're dividing, so we subtract the exponent. So this is the answer now. This is the factor of number 12. Last, and probably this is the most confusing among all. Okay, so we have 18, 12, and 24. 18, 12, and 24. So basically, all you need to master in knowing the greatest common monomial factor is finding the prime factors of each numbers that we are always given. Okay, for 18, remember there is always 1. So that you won't forget, always consider 1. And then we know that 18 is 6 times 3. Okay, so we could have 3 already because that is prime. And then 6, the factors of 6 is 2 and 3. So write 3 and 2. So if you know that the factors of 18 is also 9 times 2, then you can break it down. So 3 times 3 is 9, and then 2. So either way, it's just the same. So for 12, we know that 4 times 3 would make 12. So we could write 3 already here. And then for the 4, it is 2 times 2. So you write 2 times 2. And then for 24, we know that 12 times, or maybe 8 times 3 again. 8 times 3. So you write 3, and then the 2 times 2 times 2 here. Okay, so what are the common factors here? Common factors are 3 and 2. Okay, so only the common among those 3. So we have 3 times 2. 3 times 2. So the greatest common factor for 18, 12, and 24 is 6. Okay, so of course you considered 1 also. Okay, but either way, it's just going to be 6. And then checking checking the exponents of m, they are all the same, so we're lucky. We don't need to think anymore. So just write m squared. And then n to the fourth, n cubed, n squared. What is the least among those 3? Copy n squared. And that is the greatest common among those 3. Okay? And now, divide each of the 3 terms using our greatest common monomial factor, which is 6m squared, n squared. Okay? 18m squared, n to the fourth, divided by 6m squared, n squared. So 18 divided by 6 is 3. And then m squared and m squared, it's just gone. It's just 1, so no need to write. And then n to the fourth divided by n squared. So again, divide means to subtract. So 4 divided by 4 minus 2 is 2. Minus. So 12, so just copy the sign here. And then 12 divided by 6 is 2. And then m squared divided by m squared is just 1 again. No need to write. N cubed divided by n squared, it means 3 minus 2. So n raised to 1. And then m squared and n squared divided by m squared and n squared, it's just gone. But we have to write the numerical coefficient. 24 divided by 6 is 4. And then no more variables because it's just the same. M squared, n squared divided by divided by m squared, n squared, then it's just 1. So this is the answer for our last example. Okay, so this is the greatest common monomial factor is the easiest among all the factoring. So hopefully you won't forget doing it. This is the first factoring that you should do whenever you're factoring anything, okay? So that you will handle smaller values, okay? So good luck grade 8 to your exams, and I'll be posting this now. See you. Bye-bye.